God, man. Just when I thought we were getting somewhere, just when I thought everything's looking like it's on the up and up, we're going to have a WNBA 2026 season. Brianna Stewart came out. Yeah, guys, we're going to have a 2026 season. You know, where things are, we're negotiating. I don't think it'll be done by the 9th, but it's going to be done. Yeah, gave us all of this hope just for Annie Costabo to drop this bombshell of an article. My goodness, the owners.
What makes this situation even more unsettling is the apparent absence of leadership from the very top of the basketball power structure. Adam Silver, long viewed as a steady hand and voice of reason within professional basketball, as repo at the heart of this collapse is a massive, seemingly unbridgeable gap between what players are demanding and what owners are willing to consider. WNBA players are standing firm on proposals they believe represent long overdue fairness. A salary cap exceeding $10 million and a genuine 30% share of total league revenue. These demands are not symbolic. They are structural. They represent a push toward real equity, long-term sustainability, and recognition of the league's growth and cultural relevance. For players, this isn't about luxury. It's about survival, respect, and professional legitimacy. Owners, however, have flatly rejected these numbers. Their argument is that agreeing to such terms would cause catastrophic financial damage. Internal projections claim losses exceeding $700 million across the lifespan of a new collective bargaining agreement if player demands are met. This is where everything locks up. The two sides aren't debating adjustments. They're operating from entirely different realities. Players see revenue growth, rising visibility, and expanding interest. Owners see risk, red ink, and financial exposure. When both sides fundamentally disagree on what the league is worth, compromise becomes nearly impossible. This isn't a gap that can be closed with minor tweaks. It's a philosophical divide about value, responsibility, and the future direction of the league. And until that divide is addressed honestly, negotiations remain frozen, pushing the WNBA closer to a full-scale shutdown with every passing hour to rudely step completely away from the WNBA's escalating labor crisis. According to insiders, Silver's attention has shifted almost entirely to the NBA's rapidly expanding Europe initiatives, projects involving billions of dollars, international partnerships, and long-term global influence. In comparison, the WNBA's internal fight appears to be treated as an inconvenience rather than a priority. That perception alone is devastating. Players are actively calling for intervention. They want Silver to step in, help bridge the gap, and prevent the league from tearing itself apart. Instead, his reported detachment sends a brutal message. This conflict is not worth his time. The optics couldn't be worse. When the most powerful figure in basketball distances himself from negotiations that could determine whether an entire league survives, it signals how little urgency the situation holds within the broader NBA ecosystem. It suggests the WNBA is expendable, something that can be paused, sacrificed, or sidelined while larger ventures move forward. Silver's absence doesn't just hurt negotiations. It deepens the sense of abandonment players already feel. Leadership matters most in moments of crisis, not comfort. By staying away, the league's top authority appears to be validating ownership's hardline stance. This disconnect reinforces the idea that the WNBA's survival is not a shared priority across the basketball world. And that realization makes an already dire situation even worse, pushing players and fans toward the conclusion that this crisis is being allowed to spiral unchecked.
Annie Costabo to drop this bombshell of an article. My goodness, the owners are not responding to the players' latest offer. They're not even responding to it. They're not sending an counter. They are done with the chit chat. They are done with the games and the back and forth. It looks like the owners are about to lock this thing out. We got to get into this article, man. Welcome to Keep the Vision. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share the channel, hit that bell notification, and hype the video. Let's get right into it.
What makes this situation even more unsettling is the apparent absence of leadership from the very top of the basketball power structure. Adam Silver, long viewed as a steady hand and voice of reason within professional basketball, has reportedly stepped completely away from the WNBA's escalating labor crisis. According to insiders, Silver's attention has shifted almost entirely to the NBA's rapidly expanding Europe initiatives, projects involving billions of dollars, international partnerships, and long-term global influence. In comparison, the WNBA's internal fight appears to be treated as an inconvenience rather than a priority. That perception alone is devastating. Players are actively calling for intervention. They want Silver to step in, help bridge the gap, and prevent the league from tearing itself apart. Instead, his reported detachment sends a brutal message. This conflict is not worth his time. The optics couldn't be worse. When the most powerful figure in basketball distances himself from negotiations that could determine whether an entire league survives, it signals how little urgency the situation holds within the broader NBA ecosystem. It suggests the WNBA is expendable, something that can be paused, sacrificed, or sidelined while larger ventures move forward. Silver's absence doesn't just hurt negotiations. It deepens a sense of abandonment players already feel. Leadership matters most in moments of crisis, not comfort. By staying away, the league's top authority appears to be validating ownership's hardline stance. This disconnect reinforces the idea that the WNBA's survival is not a shared priority across the basketball world. And that realization makes an already dire situation even worse, pushing players and fans toward the conclusion that this crisis is being allowed to spiral unchecked.
About this nonsense anymore. He's over it. He's not even thinking about all of this. Oh, yeah, we love for Adam to come sit at the table. Man, he said, damn that. I'm focused on the business that's bringing in billions, the NBA. Not this, y'all running around playing games right now. Y'all running around playing games. He's done with it. Now it seems like the owners are done with the conversation. Players are seeking a salary cap of over $10 million and 30% of league revenue. We already know the owner said doing something like this will cause them to lose $700 million plus. Are y'all crazy?
According to reporting from Front Office Sports, the situation is even more alarming than it appears on the surface. The WNBA League office has remained completely silent for 2 full weeks after receiving the Players Association's most recent proposal. 2 weeks. No acknowledgement. No follow-up. No request for clarification. Just nothing. And with the critical January 9th deadline looming, now measured in hours, not days, this silence cannot be explained away as a scheduling issue or internal delay. This is intentional. In negotiations of this magnitude, silence is not neutral. It is strategic. It is a message. That message is brutally clear. Ownership has no interest in continuing talks. They are not searching for compromise. They are not exploring middle ground. They are preparing for a shutdown. By refusing to respond at all, owners are effectively declaring the discussion finished without ever saying the words out loud. For players, this confirms their worst fears. The lack of engagement signals that the league is willing to risk total disruption rather than address the core demands being raised. A lockout is no longer a distant possibility. It is rapidly becoming the default outcome. The most troubling part is the finality of it all. Negotiations typically involve tension, counteroffers, and public posturing. What's happening here is different. This is a door being closed entirely. And once that door shuts, reopening it becomes exponentially harder. Fans hoping for a stable, competitive season are now facing the very real possibility of total cancellation. Players who have trained year-round are being forced to sit in limbo. The silence from ownership isn't just cold, it's destructive. It strips players of leverage, clarity, and security, and it pushes the league closer to a crisis that may not be reversible once it fully begins.
Like this will cause them to lose $700 million plus. Are y'all crazy? Let's get into this article, man. This is by Annie Constable. Shout out to you. Let's get into it. A little more than 48 hours ahead of the January 9th deadline, the WNBA and WNBPA remain at odds over new collective bargaining agreement. According to sources familiar with negotiations, the union was still awaiting a response from the league to the proposal they submitted roughly 2 weeks ago.
Just as WNBA fans were beginning to feel genuine optimism about the future of the league, everything abruptly fell apart. For weeks, there had been cautious but growing hope that progress was being made behind the scenes. League insiders, including respected voices like Brandon Stewart, hinted that conversations were moving forward and that a workable path toward the 2026 season might finally be taking shape. That optimism didn't come out of nowhere. It was built on the belief that both sides understood what was at stake. Then, without warning, the entire process collapsed. WNBA ownership went completely silent. No responses, no clarifications, no counter-offers. The players submitted a detailed, structured proposal designed to keep negotiations alive, and the owners didn't even acknowledge it. This wasn't a delay or a misunderstanding. It was a clear refusal to engage. This level of silence sends a message far louder than any press release ever could. It signals that ownership has effectively walked away from negotiations altogether. Not paused them, not slowed them down, ended them. When one side refuses to respond at all, it's not a negotiation problem. It's a shutdown. Now the league is speeding toward what looks like an unavoidable lockout. That means empty arenas, canceled games, and an entire season hanging in limbo. Superstar players like Aya Wilson are left in total uncertainty, unable to plan their futures or even know if they'll be allowed to do their jobs. Careers that depend on timing, health, and momentum are being put at risk. This isn't just a labored disagreement anymore. This is a crisis with real consequences. Every day without dialogue increases the likelihood that the season collapses entirely. For a league that has spent years fighting for legitimacy and growth, this kind of breakdown couldn't come at a worse time. Entire careers, not just contracts, are now hanging by a thread.
Awaiting a response from the league to the proposal they submitted roughly 2 weeks ago as of Wednesday afternoon. They haven't responded to these ladies in 2 weeks. They're done. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's over. It's over. They haven't responded. It's January 7th. The owners didn't even want the deadline to be extended this long because they was already done with the back and forth. They have not responded in 2 weeks. The deadline is in 2 days. It's over, man. It's over.
The league's previous proposal from December only highlights how deep this divide truly is. Ownership offered players 70% of net revenue, a figure that sounds generous on the surface but reportedly translates to less than 15% of total league revenue when broken down fully. That distinction matters. Net revenue calculations can be manipulated through expenses and accounting structures, leaving players with far less than the headline number suggests. For the Players Association, this offer felt less like compromise and more like creative math. Ownership also proposed increasing the salary cap from $1.5 million to $5 million, with maximum salaries potentially reaching $1.3 million and average salaries climbing above $530,000 over the life of the agreement. While these figures represent growth, they fall far short of what players believe reflects the league's current profile and future potential. The WNBA is more visible than ever. Media coverage has expanded. Sponsorship interest has grown. Cultural relevance is at an all-time high. Against that backdrop, players see the December offer as outdated and disconnected from reality. This isn't just about numbers, it's about trust. Players don't believe the league is negotiating in good faith, and owners don't believe the players' demands are financially viable. That mutual disbelief has stalled everything. With no counteroffers, no communication, and deadlines expiring, the league now stands on the edge of a self-inflicted collapse, one driven not by lack of talent or fan interest, but by a refusal to meet in the middle.